Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. This is going to be a banger because I'm going to bring you through the new 2024 ad account structure and strategy and creative testing strategy that we're using that is incrementally, like literally increasing our ad account results. We're literally not doing much more or spending more time on doing who knows what. And so we tweaked the ad account structure and we focused and shifted our time on spending our time doing other things, which I'm going to share exactly what with this particular strategy and approach. And just so you know, by the way, as usual, I like to show some proof. These are just some of the type of caliber of clients that we're used to working with, 20, 30, 40K days, sometimes even more. And so we work with 6, 7, and 8-figure clients. And because the strategy is working so well, we're actually shifting. We've been testing this in the last 2 to 3 months, and because it's working so well, we're shifting this ad account structure pretty much to almost all of our clients. Okay, and with no further ado, let's get right into it. And by the way, shout out to one of our clients who actually introduced us to one this particular strategy. So shout out to him. And because of him, we were able to, we're always open at the end of the day. It's not that we always have the answers. We're always open to listening, getting suggestions, and testing new things. And so we heard this new strategy from the client. It made a lot of sense. And so we implemented it straight away. And guess what? It's working quite well. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you. So with no further ado, let's get right into the video and let's get it going. Great. So this strategy, let's call it the new 2024 creative testing strategy. Now, before I explain everything, we need to understand one main thing. So let me just push this down before you get too excited here. So we have to understand one thing, that the advertising world, especially the social media advertising world, has been really evolving in the last, I would say, 6 to 12 months, like drastically. And so we're shifting into an era where ad account tweaks or spending 80% of your time on your ad account tweaking strategies, doing bid caps doesn't really work anymore. This is why both on Google, on TikTok, on Facebook, they started introducing these AI-driven kind of models or campaign types, right? Like the CBO, or not, sorry, the CBO, the Advantage Shopping Plus campaign, right? All these types of campaigns are like way more AI driven, where you just tell Facebook what to spend, who to target, maybe what age, and then focus on the creative. The demographical side is mostly done by Facebook. So what we've been doing and what we've been shifting to in the last short period is that we've started completely going broad with our ad sets and our campaigns and our targeting. That's what I meant. And so we're mainly focusing, instead of focusing and putting our time focusing on, okay, let's try to test, interest number 1 and compared to interest number 5, we start shifting our focus more on the creative side, which is, we've been doing that for, at this point, like 2 or 3 years already, focusing on creative. But instead of focusing on the demographic, we're focusing on the creative testing angles and offer propositions that we're essentially proposing to the market. And based on that, right, which I'll explain how we divide it into, we structure the ads in a certain way. Okay, so this is really important to consider. So I wanted to just frame this video, and just so you know, this is where advertising is going towards. So if you're spending most of your time and you're spending it on your ad account and you think, okay, the CBO, ABO, whatever, all that stuff, sure, I understand, but this is what I think is going to work. And if you're not using this particular structure, maybe use something similar, right? The idea and the principle is that you have CBO campaigns running and each ad set is a creative testing angle. Let me explain how we're doing it here. So let's just say we have a client that has like 5 different products. What we would do is that we would set up 5 different CBO campaigns. So we have 5 products. Each product has their own CBO campaign. And so within that product, and by the way, we want to set a $150 to $200 budget. And so the only kind of downside with the strategy is that if you have like zero marketing dollars to start off, it can be a little bit of a challenge. But hey, like, I encourage you to start maybe at it lower, to see how it works. I know for a fact that Facebook likes, especially with CBO campaigns, they like at least $100 budget. And at the end of the day, this strategy works because we're trying to find what can scale. We don't want to find ad sets that spend very few dollars, or campaigns that just spend $50 with a 3x ROAS. We want to find campaigns that spend $5,000 with a 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever ROAS. We don't really care about low scale. We care about high scale, right? And so this strategy works very well because each product that we're testing or that we're trying to scale has their own dedicated CBO campaign. And within this CBO campaign, we basically just focus on adding and stacking different ad sets, right? And each ad set corresponds to a different test. And each test corresponds to a different marketing angle or proposition that we're essentially promoting to the market, right? So if we're testing, I don't know, if we're promoting this Apple Watch, one marketing angle could be, okay, use this Apple Watch to measure your heartbeats, right? Because of health. The other could be because it saves you time, right? So these are two complete. Another one could be because it increases your status, right? So all of these three different examples that I just shared with you are three completely different angles that we're using to promote one product, this Apple Watch, right? And so that's what I mean. So essentially, you should not spend your time increasing budgets on the ad set level, maybe on ABOs. Although I have to be honest, we still have some clients where the ABO is just like working, and it wouldn't be really smart for us to just shut it off. So we are testing the strategy for the accounts that are maybe newer, that we recently onboarded, and so we're gradually shifting. But I believe this is the absolute best way to pretty much go about scaling ad accounts, because the setup is extremely easy. One campaign, one product, and then all you have to do is continue stacking new ad sets and by evolving marketing angles, right? And so what eventually you're going to end up with is one campaign, one CBO campaign with like 50 different ad sets or maybe more. And we just let Facebook choose where it wants to spend, right? Even if Facebook, you see that the ROAS on one ad set is maybe not the best, or it's spending, let it do its thing. Trust the process. I can assure you Facebook wants to give you an ROI, because if they don't, then they don't incentivize you to go back and spend more on their ad platform, right? And so this is one particular thing. What we like to do is we test this. We use this particular structure in terms of naming, and the naming is very fundamental for when you want to go back and look for new things, or go back into the ad account and look for on what worked. And so we have test number 1001. We include the product name / concept name, creative concept name, and then creative style, whether it's an image or a video or a GIF or whatever you're using. And so this is what you're using. By the way, stick until not the end of the video, but the next 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to show you what Google Sheet we're using to track every single aspect of the structure, so that we can fully understand what creatives are working, what can be scaled, what creative concepts work at scale, what don't work at scale. Do images work? Do videos work? And so I'm talking about this, and I want to show you this Google Sheet in just a second, because a lot of people, as I spoke about in my previous video, they just try to test a bunch of strategy with no criteria. And so there's nothing worse than testing things and hoping that something sticks, and then maybe doing a little bit of that, and maybe doing something of that. Like, everything needs to be strategically tested with a purpose and a reason, right? That's the whole point of advertising, being strategic and analyzing your numbers. So let's move on here. Each ad set is a marketing angle and a different test. And within that, I know that D2C, for those of you who don't know, dynamic testing campaign. So dynamic testing or dynamic creative is where you give Facebook different headlines, different hooks, or whatever, different images, different videos, and it will automatically choose, and put things together depending on how Facebook thinks it will perform. Like the actual combination of the variations will perform. And so this is a great feature. The thing is that this feature is actually about to expire. It seems like it's about to get out of Facebook I'm not sure for what reason, because it's kind of working well for us, but for some reason, for one reason or another, it's going to eventually leave the ad account. So we have it active for, I believe, almost all of our clients. If you don't have the D2C option or the dynamic ads option, it wouldn't surprise me, because I read a bunch of updates and it's eventually going to happen. If it doesn't, it means they changed their mind. Either way, if you have this option, use it. So what you have to do is that you want to come up with 3 to 4 ad variations. So for each ad set, you want to create 3 to 4 ads. And so you have to create multiple variations. So we want probably 1 image ads, right? And then the rest videos, or maybe 2 image ads and 2 videos. Depending also on the product. For one of our clients that is selling furniture, what really works well is like very, very high quality image ads. And so in their scenario, we're doing 1 video and then 3 images. We're prioritizing images because we know they work. And so this is pretty much how it works. And if you don't have the DTC option, then do the normal ads. But I would consider, like, all these ads, by the way, should of course be coherent to the marketing angle, meaning that if you're speaking about health here, all of these ads need to be related. All of the hooks, all of the ads, everything, the storyboard, the frame, the UGC video person talking on video, whatever, they all have to make sense with the creative angle that you're testing over here. Okay, so once again, I think this is strategy worth testing. Very important thing to talk about over here. Scale every 3 days by 5 to 10%. So you need to have this running for 3 days. If you don't see a result for I would say 3 to 4 days, then you keep it at the same budget and just keep cycling ad sets until you find something that actually works and can be scaled. If something works and can be scaled by 5 to 10 to 15% at the most every 3 to 4 days. And that's pretty much how we're able to scale and stack up. Have we tried to increase the budget? Can you try to increase the budget by more than 5 to 10 to 15%? Yes, but I would be careful with that, because what happens is that if you do it too aggressively, then you kind of, like, Facebook loses its momentum, because what Facebook will do, what Meta will do, is that it will scale with a particular budget. If you give it a completely different budget, it has to reorganize the way it's distributing its budget, and therefore it has to maybe reoptimize, and the performance could potentially decrease. Okay, and so keep adding creative tests. So what I'm saying here is essentially don't stop with like 2 or 3 tests here. Every couple of days or whenever you can, keep stacking marketing angles so that you feed the creative engine, and Facebook can choose and has more options to choose from. And then the main priority is adding more ad sets so that Facebook can keep scaling. That's essentially what I just said. Now let's move on. Let's go back here. Let's talk about this command center over here. So what we have here, this is essentially a tracking sheet that is dedicated for all of our clients. Each client has their own sheet, and within the command center, we have a creative testing tracker. And the way that we structured this, which I'll explain in just a second, really works well with how I just explained the diagram over here, right? It's very, very congruent, just also with the naming, which is why we're keeping the same name here, as you can notice. So if we go back here, what this chart is about, it's about literally tracking all of your results across all of your tests, right? To learn exactly what is working, what is not working, what variations can we repurpose and scale, right? So that we can essentially add more ad sets and give Facebook a better chance to scale, and so that we can increase the budgets and have $5,000 CBO campaigns running, right? So we have a test ID, we have an ad set name. As you can see over here, it's basically the same exact structure: test, product, angle, image or video, GIF, whatever, a variation. And so here we have some metrics to populate, but the most important ones to put is that for each and every test, right, let's take this for example, we have the creative testing angle, the Asana task. We use Asana, so we put all of the tasks in Asana, and then we link the Asana task over here, so that if we want to go back and maybe understand, who did this, who did that, the copywriter did this, the copywriter said this, the video ads, the media buyer said this, or whatever. We have basically the entire thread of the conversation when it comes to this discussing this particular ad set, right? Or a creative test, right? We have that, and then we have the marketing angle, we have the emotion of the creative, happy, sad, depression, whatever. Then we have the avatar customer that we're going after. Then we have the hook, and then we have the messaging, and then we have the ad copy link, right? So we can track that. And then we have the format, and then we have the creative link, whether it was an image or a video. And so literally we can track every single aspect. What we can do later is that we can create charts like these, populate charts that tell us, okay, we have a win rate of 11%, meaning that every 10 ads, one is a winner and it can be scaled. Or this avatar customer is the one that is bringing the most sales, or this type of hook is the one that is working the best or giving us the best hook rate, or this type of messaging, this type of marketing angle, same thing. So keep it very organized, because every single data point that you put on the sheet you can then reuse to create graphical representations like this one, which will give you an estimate or a very good understanding of how your ad account is performing, what is working, what is not working, in like 30 seconds, because you have a graphical representation of what's going on with your business. You know what angles work, your win rate, what ad formats are working, how many tests per month you're doing, right? In this case, we did almost 17 tests, whatever. And so you can be very analytical here. And so the other things that we say here and that we advise you to add is the status, whether it's live or not, or if it's been tested. And typically when it's been tested, it's because it's either break even and it's not worth scaling, or it's a loser because it's not, it's just a loser. It's not profitable. As you can see, the ROAS is too low. And then of course you have the winners, and the to be determined is when they didn't spend enough, and then the winners and the losers and whatever. And then we have metrics like ROAS, and all these things are color coded, as you can see. So the more the ROAS is closer to 0, and the more it's red, and the more the ROAS is closer to infinite, whatever, and the more it's a green color. And so you can once again visually, immediately at first impact, understand how things are going over here from this perspective. Same thing with CTR, CPC, cost per click, right? Conversion rate, AOV, and stuff like that. All of these things, including hook rate and hold rate. Now, the most important thing here is that we have learnings, right? Why do we do this in the first place? We do this in the first place because we want to know how each test is performing, and if they're performing well and it's a winner, we want to write notes so that we can come up with other winning variations. In this case, we have the winning variation link. This is where you would put your ad, your Facebook ad link, the display and preview link, so that you know exactly what creative was working, what was driving the best results. And then you have your notes and your learnings. It worked well because the conversion rate was very good. The landing page was great. Also the image, the hook rate was amazing. The CTR and the cost per clicks were very low, right? Cost per clicks were very low. Cost per CTRs were very high. And then we have next steps, so that we have, always next steps in terms of, okay, this works. Let's replicate this concept 4, 5, 10 other times, by tweaking this, and that. And so in this way, you can literally have learnings and trackings of every single test that you do. And it's all documented over here. This is very powerful. Once again, most ad agencies or most e-commerce brands just look at their competitors. They look at the competitors of the brand or of their client, and they try to see what's working, hoping that something sticks on the wall. And then they don't have a process where they document things and have learnings, meaning they don't have a sheet like this, well organized like this, that tells them this is working, this is not working, this is how many tests you did. So if you want this exact same sheet, okay, you can sign up to my school community. If you're interested, there's a link down below. Also, if you want this done for you, maybe you have a business that's doing multiple 6, 7, or 8 figures, you can actually book, if we have slots open, book a call, a free audit down below with myself or my team, and we can basically break down your business and see if we can do the same for you, meaning manage your ad account, get results, and blah, blah, blah. What we do for our clients. Okay, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have new suggestions for other videos. I'm always open to reading the comments. I always answer the comments. I always do. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It helps the channel. And see you in the next video.